In a galaxy teeming with ancient civilizations, unpredictable alliances, and powerful forces, one species stands out for its relentless drive, unyielding spirit, and a profound belief that no challenge is insurmountable. The humans, a relatively new addition to the interstellar stage, have arrived not just to survive but to lead. With a unique blend of curiosity, resilience, and ingenuity, they quickly capture the attention of the galaxy, leaving a trail of innovation, inspiration, and hope in their wake. But as their influence grows, the galaxy soon realizes that when the humans arrive, everything changes, and often for the better. Kirak, a seasoned diplomat from the Voran species, sat uneasily in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. Over the years, he had faced countless challenges, from negotiating with enigmatic species to managing the fiery tempers of warlike factions. Yet, none had unsettled him quite like the humans. They were newcomers to the interstellar scene, a species still carving their place among the stars. What made them different wasn't their technology or their ships. It was their unpredictability. Kirak found their confidence both unnerving and strangely captivating, a blend of qualities that no amount of experience could prepare him for. The council chamber, a circular expanse of gleaming obsidian and flowing light, buzzed with anticipation as the liaison announced the arrival of the human ambassador. The door slid open, and Emily Ryan entered. She was tall and composed, her stride unhurried yet purposeful. A warm smile lit her face, and her presence exuded a quiet but undeniable authority. The room seemed to hold its breath as she made her way to the center, with the council's attention now focused entirely on her. Kirak noticed how even the most aloof members leaned forward slightly, their curiosity piqued. Her voice, steady and inviting, carried effortlessly through the chamber as she began to speak. "Greetings, esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she said, her tone respectful yet firm. Emily's words were polished, carefully chosen to convey both gratitude and purpose. As she spoke, Kirak found himself captivated, despite his reservations. Humans, he realized, had an almost magnetic quality about them. Their words were more than just words. They carried a weight that drew people in, compelling them to listen and, more importantly, to believe. As the meeting progressed, Emily deftly navigated the delicate dynamics of the council, addressing concerns and answering questions with a mix of humility and confidence. Kirak couldn't help but marvel at how seamlessly she handled the intricacies of interstellar diplomacy, a realm where even seasoned species often stumbled. It wasn't just what she said, but how she said it. By the end of her address, the council members were not just acknowledging humanity's place among them. They were embracing it. For the first time, Kirak saw what made humans truly unique. They didn't simply adapt to the galaxy. They reshaped it, one conversation at a time. In a distant mining colony, nestled in the harsh and unrelenting terrain of the Zeni homeworld, the operations had come to a grinding halt. The Zeni, renowned for their advanced crystalline technology, were stymied by a complex system failure. Their engineers, precise and methodical, were baffled by the delicate machinery, unable to diagnose the cascading errors that threatened their productivity. Frustration loomed over the team as their attempts to restore the equipment only seemed to exacerbate the issue. For a species that prided itself on precision, this failure was particularly demoralizing. Amid their struggle, a human technician named Marcus arrived, his demeanor unassuming but curious. He observed the intricate schematics with a gleam in his eye, an outsider fascinated by a puzzle yet unsolved. "Have you considered using redundant failsafes?" he asked, his voice cutting through the tense atmosphere. The Zeni engineers exchanged incredulous glances. Redundancies, they argued, would only increase the system's complexity, something they had long been taught to avoid. Marcus, undeterred, smiled and replied, "Exactly. More complexity means more opportunities to catch errors before they spread." Despite their initial skepticism, the Zeni allowed Marcus to demonstrate his idea. Hours turned into a flurry of activity as he worked alongside them, sharing his unorthodox approach. Rather than striving for perfection in isolation, Marcus emphasized adaptability, introducing solutions that embraced the system's inherent flaws. Slowly but surely, the mining operation roared back to life, not just restored but running more efficiently than ever. The Zeni engineers, so entrenched in their methods, were astonished at the effectiveness of Marcus's seemingly counterintuitive approach. As the humans departed, the Zeni team reflected on what they had witnessed. Marcus's success wasn't merely a technical fix. It was a lesson in perspective. Humans didn't just solve problems, they reframed them, attacking issues from angles no one else considered. Their creativity wasn't limited by convention or tradition, and this trait, so alien to the Zeni, proved to be their greatest strength. In that moment, the Zeni engineers understood why humanity was rapidly becoming a force to be reckoned with among the stars. On a desolate moon caught in the throes of conflict, the humans faced the Bracken horde, a species synonymous with brute strength and military dominance. The Bracken were towering figures of raw power, their battle tactics designed to overwhelm and annihilate. They had fought countless foes across the galaxy and emerged victorious each time. To the Bracken, the humans were little more than a curiosity, frail, outnumbered, and seemingly outmatched. Yet, as the confrontation unfolded, it became clear that this encounter would be unlike any other. The human Marines, led by Captain Elena Drake, didn't retreat in the face of overwhelming odds. Instead, they adapted with remarkable speed, turning the moon's barren landscape into a weapon. Using guerrilla tactics, they exploited every natural advantage, creating traps and ambushes that whittled down the Bracken forces. The humans moved like shadows, their unorthodox strategies throwing the Bracken into disarray. It wasn't brute force that defined them, but their ability to think on their feet, to turn chaos into opportunity. As the battle raged on, the Bracken warriors began to notice something that unsettled even them. The humans didn't just fight with their weapons. They fought with their minds and their unyielding spirit. Even when surrounded, they refused to surrender, their determination unshaken. Each skirmish revealed new tactics, new methods of countering the Bracken's overwhelming strength. What the humans lacked in size and numbers, they compensated for with ingenuity, resourcefulness, and an almost reckless courage that bordered on audacity. When the battle finally ended, the Bracken horde found themselves forced into an unprecedented retreat. It wasn't a loss born of physical inferiority, but one of psychological impact. For the first time, they had faced an enemy who fought not just to survive, but to outthink and outlast them. Among the Bracken, there was a begrudging respect for the humans, a recognition that these newcomers were not to be underestimated. In their defeat, the Bracken learned that the human spirit was as formidable as any weapon, a force that could not be conquered. The Galactic Council had long struggled with the fractured alliances within the TYTH Confederacy, a coalition of fiercely independent planets. The TYTH were a proud and diverse group, but their unity was constantly tested by disputes over resources, territorial boundaries, and cultural differences. Despite numerous attempts by the Council to mediate, the Confederacy remained on the brink of collapse, with tensions simmering just beneath the surface. The Council, known for its diplomatic prowess, had reached an impasse, unable to find a solution to the centuries-old conflict that seemed too deeply rooted to resolve. In the midst of this turmoil, a human mediator, Saracho, was appointed by the United Tan Coalition to step in. The council members, who had grown accustomed to intricate negotiations with established species, viewed this decision with skepticism. After all, humans were newcomers to interstellar diplomacy. What could they possibly offer that previous efforts had not? But Saracho's approach was different from anything the council had seen. She did not come with grandiose promises or sweeping plans. Instead, she listened carefully to each faction, taking the time to understand their unique needs and concerns. Saracho's method was simple yet profound. She sought to bridge the divides not through forceful diplomacy, but by immersing herself in the cultures of the TYTH. She shared meals with their most powerful warriors, learned their songs, and engaged in the ancient traditions of their wandering tribes. Rather than positioning herself as an outsider, Saracho became a participant in their lives, earning their respect and trust in a way that no previous diplomat had. She listened without judgment, absorbed the stories that each faction held dear, and built relationships based on understanding and mutual respect. When it came time to propose a solution, Saracho unveiled a bold new approach, a resource-sharing agreement that would leverage the unique strengths of each TYTH faction. She suggested a cultural exchange program that would foster understanding and celebrate their differences instead of allowing them to divide them further. The simplicity of her proposal was its brilliance. "You are stronger together," she said. "Humanity knows this better than most. We've torn ourselves apart for centuries, but when we work together, we achieve the impossible." The Confederacy, once fragmented and distrustful, agreed to the terms of the proposal. Even the most skeptical members of the council were impressed by the success of Saracho's unorthodox diplomacy, which brought unity where others had failed. The Dre Collective, a species known for its technological supremacy, had long been the envy of the galaxy. Their expertise in quantum fields and their mastery of advanced physics was unparalleled. Yet, even they were stumped by a recent astronomical anomaly in the Zenith cluster, the mysterious collapse of a star that defied all known laws of physics. The Dre scientists, with their intricate simulations and sophisticated methods, could not provide an explanation. The anomaly's behavior was entirely outside the scope of their understanding, and their efforts to model the collapse produced only frustrating results. In a surprising move, the Dre invited humans to join their research efforts, despite their relatively recent arrival on the galactic stage. Dr. Raj Patel, a theoretical physicist from Earth, was selected to collaborate with the Dre team. As Raj analyzed the complex data and equations, he quickly realized that the problem wasn't necessarily with the mathematics themselves, but with the assumptions that had guided the Dre's models. The established theories and methods of the Dre were grounded in centuries of tradition, but Raj proposed a radical shift in perspective. Perhaps the star wasn't collapsing on its own. What if an external force was at work? The Dre scientists were skeptical, but Raj's insights sparked enough curiosity to warrant further investigation. Raj suggested a daring experiment to deploy a fleet of microprobes into the heart of the anomaly. It was a risky move, one that could end in disaster, but the Dre were willing to entertain the idea, as their own approaches had led nowhere. The data that the probes gathered ultimately confirmed Raj's hypothesis. The star's collapse was not an isolated event, but rather a result of being pulled by an enormous, hypermassive rogue planet, whose gravitational field had never been observed before. This discovery was revolutionary, and the Dre scientists were left in awe of the humans' ability to think beyond conventional boundaries. Raj's success wasn't just in the technical solution he provided, but in his willingness to question the assumptions that had guided the most advanced minds of the galaxy. His unorthodox thinking was a reminder that even the most established scientific principles could be challenged and reshaped. When asked how humans could come up with such unconventional ideas, Raj replied with a smile, "We don't have all the answers, so we're used to asking questions no one else thinks to ask." His ability to see beyond the obvious, to approach problems from new angles, had changed the course of the investigation and helped unlock a mystery that had stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy. On the far edge of the galaxy, an ancient Dyson sphere orbited a dead star, a relic of a long-lost civilization. For millennia, this mysterious structure had drawn the attention of explorers and scholars, who marveled at its grandeur but were unable to activate its dormant systems. Despite its allure, no species had been able to decipher its purpose or unlock its secrets. The sphere was both a puzzle and a challenge, its technologies far beyond the comprehension of those who attempted to study it. Most species had abandoned their efforts, deeming the task too daunting, but the humans approached it with a unique perspective. Rather than relying on sheer technological prowess or brute force, the humans brought a different kind of expertise, creativity, and collaboration. A team of human engineers, artists, and historians arrived to study the Dyson sphere, each contributing their own insights. They didn't just look at the sphere as a technological challenge, but as a story waiting to be understood. Instead of focusing solely on the technical aspects, They began by studying the culture that had created it, searching for clues in the myths and stories that might have been passed down through generations. They believed that the key to unlocking the sphere's secrets lay not just in its structure, but in the ideas that had inspired it. Over the course of several years, the human team worked tirelessly, piecing together the various components of the Dyson sphere. They relied on the wisdom and knowledge of other species, inviting them to collaborate and share their expertise. The humans understood that no one species could solve the mystery alone, so they forged partnerships across the galaxy. Engineers worked side by side with artists, and scientists collaborated with historians, combining their strengths in ways that had never been attempted before. Through these collective efforts, the humans and their allies slowly uncovered the purpose of the sphere. It was an archive, a vast repository of knowledge waiting for the right species to unlock it. When the final riddle was solved, it wasn't advanced technology or brute force that activated the Dyson sphere, but a simple idea: collaboration. By working together, the humans and their allies had unlocked the sphere's hidden potential. As the sphere's systems powered up, its light spread across the galaxy like a beacon, a symbol of unity and hope. The humans had not only solved an ancient mystery, but they had also shown the galaxy what could be achieved when different species set aside their differences and combined their strengths. The Dyson sphere was no longer just a relic of the past. It had become a symbol of a brighter, more unified future. The Zark swarm, a terrifying and unstoppable force, was one of the galaxy's most feared species. A mindless, planet-devouring collective, the Zarks advanced with single-minded determination, annihilating everything in their path. When the swarm set its sights on the Merrick sector, a vast and strategic part of the galaxy, the Council convened in an emergency session to discuss their response. Many of the members, including high-ranking officials, immediately suggested evacuating the sector and abandoning the planets to their fate. The Zarks were seemingly an insurmountable threat, and their relentless advance had left little room for hope. The Council, accustomed to finding diplomatic solutions, was now faced with the reality that some threats could not be reasoned with. In the face of this overwhelming crisis, General Atomy, a human military strategist, stepped forward with a defiant response. "No, we fight." His words were met with incredulity. The Council had never seen humans as a military power on the scale of the Zarks, and many doubted their ability to stop the swarm. Yet Atomy's conviction was unshakable. He proposed a bold and risky strategy, one that relied on the very human trait that had allowed them to thrive throughout history: resilience. The Zarks, though relentless, were not invincible. Atomy's plan was to disrupt their hive mind, the key to their coordinated movement, and create chaos among their ranks by targeting their communication networks. The humans quickly set to work, sharing their expertise in war tactics that had been honed over centuries of their own internal conflicts. They collaborated with other species to build an unprecedented coalition fleet, combining their strengths and adapting to the unique threats posed by the Zarks. The humans trained alongside their allies, using unconventional strategies to exploit the swarm's vulnerabilities. The battle for the Merrick sector was brutal, with heavy losses on all sides, but the human strategies proved effective. By systematically breaking the swarm's hive mind through targeted strikes, they sowed confusion and disarray among the Zark's ranks, slowing their advance and forcing them into a defensive position. When the battle finally ended, the galaxy was left in shock. For the first time, the Zarks had been stopped. It wasn't just a military victory. It was a testament to the human spirit and their ability to overcome even the most daunting challenges. The victory wasn't about defeating the Zarks with sheer force, but about outthinking them and adapting to the situation. The message sent across the galaxy was clear. Humans didn't just survive in the face of impossible odds. They thrived. Their unyielding determination, adaptability, and ability to unite with others had turned the tide of war and earned them a newfound respect as defenders not just of their own species but of the galaxy itself. In the bustling trade hub of Verx Prime, a grand exhibition was being held, showcasing art from across the galaxy. Various species displayed their most celebrated works, from the intricate Ivan tap of starlight to the delicate glass sculptures of the Ellen, and the mesmerizing, pulsating bioluminescent displays of the Vicari. Each piece was a testament to the unique creativity and cultural heritage of its species. However, amidst these awe-inspiring artworks, it was the human exhibit that left the most profound impact on the visitors. At first glance, it seemed unassuming, a collection of simple paintings, songs recorded on archaic instruments, and even a short film. There was no grand technological innovation or otherworldly mastery on display, yet the simplicity and raw emotion conveyed in each piece captivated the attendees. As the visitors delved deeper into the human exhibit, they began to feel a deep connection to the artworks. It wasn't the complexity of the mediums that resonated with them, but the emotion and universal themes embedded in the works. One painting, depicting a solitary figure standing against a fiery horizon, captured the resilience of the human spirit. Another, a song of joy found in fleeting moments, evoked a sense of hope and peace. Each piece conveyed emotions that transcended the boundaries of species, reaching deep into the hearts of those who viewed it. The simple yet powerful nature of the human creation spoke to something fundamental within the beings of the galaxy. A particularly poignant moment occurred when an Ellerian curator stood before one of the paintings, their voice trembling as they tried to articulate the profound impact it had. "What is this?" they asked, overcome with emotion. "Resilience," replied Maya Alvarez, a human artist who had helped curate the exhibit. The human response was not a statement of artistic technique or skill, but an explanation of the essence of human art. It was an expression of strength in the face of adversity. The humans had captured something that resonated with all sentient beings: the ability to endure hardship, to find beauty in pain, and to keep moving forward despite the odds. It wasn't about creating art for art's sake, but about communicating a fundamental truth about life itself. The human exhibit sparked a wave of introspection and inspiration throughout the attendees. Some were moved to tears. Others were motivated to create their own works of art, inspired by the powerful emotions conveyed in the pieces. Humanity's art didn't just reflect their experiences. It became a bridge between species, offering a shared emotional experience that transcended cultural and biological differences. The exhibit reminded everyone that, no matter their origins, the capacity for joy, sorrow, hope, and resilience was universal. Humanity's contribution to the galaxy wasn't just technological or intellectual. It was an offering of beauty, emotion, and a reminder that even in the darkest times, the light of creativity and hope could shine through. In the distant Andreas Nebula, a distress beacon crackled to life, coming from a derelict ship that had been thought lost centuries ago. Most species in the galaxy dismissed the signal as an anomaly, deeming the ship too dangerous to investigate. The nebula was a treacherous region of space, filled with radiation and cosmic debris, and the ship was likely beyond saving. However, the humans, led by Captain Aisha Grant, were different. Where others saw an impossible mission, they saw an opportunity to explore and learn. Driven by curiosity and the belief that no mystery was too great, they set out to investigate the derelict vessel, navigating the hazardous nebula with skill and determination. When they finally reached the ancient ship, the crew was astonished by what they found. It was a marvel of engineering, a ship unlike anything the humans had ever encountered before. The technology was old, yet sophisticated far beyond the capabilities of modern species. As they explored its remains, they discovered stasis chambers containing the preserved remnants of a long-extinct species. The humans' fascination with the ship went beyond its technological marvels. It was the history contained within that intrigued them. The discovery was a reminder that the galaxy was full of forgotten stories, lost civilizations, and ancient knowledge waiting to be uncovered. The humans, true to their nature, chose to preserve the history of the long-dead species rather than exploit the find for profit or personal gain. Rather than seeing the stasis chambers as a mere scientific curiosity, the humans saw an opportunity to preserve the culture and history of the extinct species. They worked closely with the galaxy's best scientists and historians, collaborating to ensure that the species' legacy would not be forgotten. The human crew demonstrated compassion and respect for the lost civilization, viewing them not as an archaeological curiosity, but as a people whose story deserved to be told. Together with experts from various species, they carefully extracted and documented the ship's knowledge, ensuring that the culture and history of the lost species would be preserved and shared with the galaxy. The humans' focus on preservation and understanding, rather than exploitation, spoke volumes about their values and approach to exploration. The culmination of this effort was nothing short of miraculous. With the help of human ingenuity and compassion, the long-lost species was revived. The remnants of the civilization, once thought to be forgotten forever, were brought back to life, their culture and history restored. The ship's survivors, awakened from their stasis chambers, were guided back to their home world by the humans, who ensured that they were integrated into the broader galactic community. The discovery and preservation of this species not only demonstrated the human capacity for compassion and empathy, but also showed their unyielding curiosity. The galaxy watched in awe as the once-lost species took its first steps back into the galaxy, reborn through humanity's dedication to understanding, preserving, and honoring the past.